Good morning, all, and welcome to Rugby Chat, Provincial Rugby, Super Rugby Showdown for the 6th of May. Today, we'll be having a look at last week's results and the short round of Super Rugby today. But of course, I suppose we have to bring on a guy that likes wearing green and gold. Good morning. Oh, the Hammers. How are you, Mr. Sheehan? How are you today?
Yeah, I'm going good, mate. How you getting on?
Oh yeah, it's been a busy weekend, and yeah, I'm still sort of buzzing over the huge win by my mighty Canes, but we'll get into that shortly. Last week I did say we'll be highlighting all the Heartland teams as we go getting closer and closer to Heartland season, and especially King's birthday weekend, because King's birthday weekend. Then it became Queen's birthday weekend, and we're back to King's birthday weekend. We have the mighty Ngāti Pro East Coast taking on the Scarlets of Poverty Bay in the annual clash in about a month's time. So that'll be an awesome thing to preview getting near it. And then, of course, I've also said that I would be highlighting a club every week. So this week, it's Ruatoria. Why not? Stick with the theme. The mighty Golden Blacks of Ruatoria City. Well, they kick off this weekend with round one of the Ngāti Pro East Coast Club Championships. We've got the draws on our Facebook page. You can go and have a look, or look up East Coast on Facebook and see what they have to say. But otherwise, yeah, highlights in the last week. That's not Super Rugby for you.
The Mid Canterbury have named their wider training squad for the Heartland 2025 campaign. Getting into it early, obviously, there's a few surprises there, a few surprise omissions as well. But yeah, no, getting into it now. Yeah, Southern Division 1 teams playing tonight. Obviously, they had their game cancelled last Tuesday because of the state of emergency in Christchurch. So they'll be travelling to West Melton Domain tonight to take on West Melton, and backing up on Saturday at Darfield, playing Darfield. So they've got 2 games in a week. So be a good gauge to see where they're at.
Well, especially, I mean, you think of football in Europe and all that, where they play 3 or 4 games in a week and stuff like that. I know rugby is a much more physical sport, but sometimes you go, why not? I mean, why not give the dirt trackers a run on a Tuesday night? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's the whole, the point of having sort of big squads and stuff like that. But yeah, it's sort of I hope everyone's still sort of cleaning up. It hit Wellington a little bit here, but I went out on Sunday and a couple of branches down, but not too bad. I mean, every time it rains now, the news wants to catastrophize stuff, but of course there is flooding going on down south, so we wish everyone all the best. But yeah, what else? Okay, so you've just mentioned Mid Canterbury. Central Hawke's Bay, they've announced their game against Wairarapa Bush in a month's time at King's birthday weekend as well. So a lot of these little pre-season fixtures are starting to come out of the woodwork. So keep an eye on us here, and we'll try and bring them all to you without Facebook trying to kick us off or whatever. But the good thing is we are on YouTube. So we might even start trying to do a bit of YouTubing shows as well. But we might as well jump straight into it and have a look at Super Rugby last weekend. Wow. Okay. So, of course, I went the mighty Force. They whimpered out and let the Blues back in the hunt with a huge win, 40 points to 19. It is a battle of the cellar dwellers. What did you make of that game?
Oh, the Blues had everything to play for, didn't they? And they certainly come out and put a performance on the park. I think Green Cotter will be pretty happy with that. Tizano was the more standout player for the Force, and he's obviously second on the board behind Artie for player of the series or whatever it is. But there was a whole list of good performers in the Blues camp. Cole Forbes, AJ Lamb, But yeah, no, they needed that one, and they got it pretty convincingly in the end.
Yeah. Well, what got me though was watching the breakdown on Sky TV after the Highlanders game, and there was the one Stephen Beaver Donald still calling the Blues championship contenders. Down
Yeah, I've gone off that program a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they have a win, and they're back to championship contenders.
Mm.
Sure. I mean, give me a break. I know it all comes down to knockout and all that as you hit that. And, we've seen teams in the past make it through to the knockout stages and take it out, i.e. the Crusaders, who are magicians at it. But, to have a win against a team that's sort of below you and, give me a break. Let's see how they go over the next couple of weeks. But then, of course, both you and I were sitting there watching this Drua and Reds game online. I was watching it, and I don't know where you were watching it, but I know you were watching it. Wow. I was sitting there going, come on, Drua, get up. And with 30 seconds to go, they kept me honest and picked up the win against the Reds, 36-33 in another Super Rugby Classic for the season.
Yeah, that was a great game. Obviously they've got a great record at home, whether it be at Churchill Park in Lautoka or Suva. They've done it in Suva this week or last week. That last drive over try was exceptional. I see they played Armstrong Ravula at 15 and Rob Valentini at 10. That seemed to work a bit better. I think Valentini's a natural 10. But yeah, my player of the day is number 6, Wonga again. He had an exceptional game.
Oh, totally. And the other thing was too, it was a good day, and I mean the Reds did come for the fight. But yeah, it was you look at how the Drua played that, and you go, now all you need to do is find another suitcase and pack that into that suitcase and take it on the road with you. Because please, I mean, later this week, they are, they're back, they're still at home. They will be hosting the Blues. And so you know which way we're going to go there when we get to the game. But I just thought it was a great game. They played well. They fought to the last minute. And, they didn't let go. So well done, the Drua. But then, half-time, the Chiefs got 2 quick last points in that first half to go into a 17-9 halftime score against the Hurricanes here in Wellington. And I just looked at that and thought, oh, God, here we go. My God. Why didn't they start Baden Sullivan in the first place? 4 tries, and that try where the Chiefs were hard on attack and they ran 90 metres for him to go over for, I think it was the second try. To me, is one of the tries of the season. But the Hurricanes made a statement coming back from beating the Brumbies last week or a fortnight ago. Big win for the Hurricanes. Great crowd. The weather was okay. 35-17 the final score to the Hurricanes. Woo woo! You know I'm a happy camper.
Yeah, I was actually quite surprised at the score. I thought the Chiefs would have put up more of a fight, but the Hurricanes were too good. Baden Sullivan was just running riot, and quite simply, the Chiefs had no answer for it. I think it's back to the drawing board for them this week, and it just goes to show that the competition is pretty open, at the moment. Anyway, obviously, obviously, if the Hurricanes can go and beat the Chiefs like that, well, anything can happen.
Exactly. Maybe it's the time for the Blues to shine. But anyway, the good news is though the Hurricanes now get a week off to patch themselves up and hopefully bring back a couple of their first 15 starters that have been off injured. So it'll be interesting to see who backs up in a couple of weeks when they take on the 16th next week when they are back in play at the stadium playing the Highlanders. So we'll cover that game next week, of course. The Brumbies, though, yeah, we both nailed this one. The Brumbies far, far too strong for the Waratahs. They have the Drua away curse, I call it. They just can't pick up a trick on the road, and the Brumbies they must have got a rocket up them after losing to the Hurricanes the previous week, because they just smashed the Waratahs. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they've made a statement too. I was watching the press conference with Stephen Larkham and Alan Alatawa after the game, and they were both pretty happy with the performance. I think the wheels are just starting to fall off the Waratahs at the moment. They've just gone a bit downhill, but that's all right. We'll see what happens in the next few weeks.
Yeah. And then, of course, we rounded it out on Sunday. What a great time for a game of rugby. Great crowd, plenty of kids. If that's not an advert to have more games on a Sunday afternoon, especially under the roof where everyone can stay nice and dry if it's raining. Wow. Ardie Savea. Is he a god? Is he some sort of supernatural creature? I don't know. But I tell you what, if he's not made the captain of the All Blacks this year, I'm sorry, Scott Barrett. I know you're good, but at least Ardie's out there doing the business from a front row, from a forward, chip kicks, runs, tries, setting up. Oh, I mean, what can this man not do?
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of tools in his arsenal, and what he showed on Sunday was just exceptional from a loose forward. He's got speed. He's just always thinking and thinking ahead. But yeah, I was quite disappointed. I thought the Highlanders should have won it. They obviously got that kick charge down right at the end. I don't know what he was thinking, taking that long to boot the fucking thing. But yeah, that's just the way it goes, and back to the drawing board for Jamie Joseph and his men, I think.
Yeah, that was unlucky, because I think that was one of probably we're into round 13, round 12 now. We're talking about, and I think there's only been a couple of charge downs all season, so for that to happen, it was converted as well. So, you take that 7 points away, and the Highlanders would have picked up that one 29-27. So, But hey, Moana Pacifica making every post a winner at the moment, and on the road. So, out of the new franchises, I suppose you could say, with the Drua and the and Moana, they know how to travel. And at the end of the day, are they traveling? Because as I saw, and I don't know exactly when the game's on, when the Force play when the Moana play the Blues, the Blues are called an away game. And I'm thinking, how can it be a away game? You've got to just travel across the Auckland Harbour Bridge. You're still in the same super city. It's not an away game. You're just playing Auckland B. At the moment, Auckland B are doing, I feel, a lot better than Auckland A. So, So if we have a quick look at the standings, and there is the mighty Ardie Savea. So we'll just quickly go to the bottom of that table there. And we've got the Blues, the Force, Waratahs, Highlanders, and Fiji Drua, if I can sort of work that out with the points. So the Drua, the Blues, well, they're only 2 points there behind Moana Pacifica, and they're on 24 with the Blues and the Force there on 22. I mean, if you look at this, if the Highlanders do pull their finger out, 18 points. I mean, they're only one good win and other results away from the top six.
Yeah, I think it's a long shot, but anything's possible. I'd like to see Fiji and Drua and the Highlanders a bit further up the table, and maybe the Waratahs at the bottom with the Blues. That would suit me fine.
Yeah, well, see, because that's the thing. Coming up to this weekend's game on Friday night, when the Blues do take on the Drua, if the Drua do get this win and get a bonus point, that will only throw them up to 20 points. So, they can make a move up to ninth there, but that would keep the Blues stuck on 7. So there is a lot, even though there's only 4 games on this weekend, there's still a lot to play for, because then, as I said, this weekend we've got the Pacifica, Highlanders, and the Hurricanes all on a bye. So about the only, as I said, Highlanders and Pacifica. So the Blues do have a chance to jump up there, and of course the Hurricanes, luckily, a couple of points ahead, so they may end up dropping down out of the top 6 again. They'll be hard to see that happening. And then, of course, at the top of the table, there were a few questions answered or asked, I suppose you could say, on the, Facebook. Why is the Chiefs on top of the table when the Crusaders are there with a better points for and against and blah, blah? They've only lost 2 games. Well, the Crusaders had the bye, and this is the official table that Super Rugby put out. So we're not going to argue with Super Rugby. But the Chiefs have played 11. The Crusaders got a game in hand. So you could argue, the Crusaders should be on top. But point differential there gives the Chiefs the nod on the on the table. The Brumbies have pretty much solidified their top 6 spot because the pundits and experts reckon you need 30 points to be in the playoffs. So Queensland, they need to pick up a couple of points. The Hurricanes just need another win. And as I said, it's all down to who's going to fight for that 5th and 6th spot, I'm guessing. So anyone there you thinking about the Hurricanes and Pacifica having the byes this week, will they still be there next week?
I'm not too sure. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the points table, because obviously there's 2 or 3 teams having a bye, but hopefully it's still the first 4 anyway. Maybe 5, because I'll get in shit if I don't put the Hurricanes in there.
Well, because at the moment we've got 1, 2, 3, we've got 4 more rounds to go, and in these next 4 rounds, as we've already mentioned that the this weekend Pacifica, Highlanders, and Canes. Next week the Chiefs will have their bye, so and the Crusaders are away to the Waratahs. So you could probably say the Crusaders will jump to the top of the table in a couple of weeks' time, and then with round 15. We've got the Blues, Brumbies, and the Fiji Drua having byes. So, as I said, Brumbies will like that because they'll get a pretty much a week off nearer the finals to patch up any injuries. And then, of course, the Western Force, they are the last team to have a bye at the end of the month. So, last round is that end of May, and then we're straight into the finals. So, hopefully that answered Calvin Loy's question about how many games are left. So 4 rounds. So anyway, Friday night, Super Stadium, HFCPC Park, whatever they want to call it. We've got the Drua taking on the Blues. Okay, I'll just kick it straight off. Fiji Drua to win by 12.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Drua to win by 8.
I've got a feeling Bowden Barrett won't be there because, they'll be looking at this thinking, okay, who can we rest? I wouldn't be surprised not to see Patrick Tuipulotu not there as well, even though we're on the screen. Because a lot of these teams are going up to Fiji, you could argue, with second-string squads. Now, I don't know if you've noticed that, but, is that something they should be even attempting at this time in the season? Shouldn't your starting 23 be locked and loaded by now?
Yeah, obviously there's a few teams that are carrying injuries to key players, but you would have thought that they would have had a good idea of their number 1 squad at least. But I think a lot of these teams go to Fiji and think, we can rest a few players, and then Fiji come out and beat them, and they just end up with egg on their faces.
Yeah, the Canes have done it. The Crusaders have done it. A lot of teams have done it. And after last week, I think the 12 from 15 home game wins now in the last 15 to the Drua. So, yeah, I think that will be a good one to watch on Friday night. And it's under lights because a lot of these games in Fiji have been during the daytime. I think this will be the first night game for the Fiji Drua. So let's see how good their floodlights are over there and if anyone's paid the power bill. So then, as I said, it's a short round this week because straight after that on Friday night, we do have the Waratahs hosting the Queensland Reds back at Allianz Stadium in Sydney. And even though they're back home, I'm saying the Reds will be bitter about that loss to Fiji. I'll let you have the first pick here.
Reds by 12.
Yeah. I think I'll follow your suit on that one. I think the Waratahs, they're at 6s and 7s at the moment. The incumbent Wallabies coach coming into the mix next year, Les Kiss, he will be having these guys firing. It's rugby union state of origin, if you want to call it that, in Australia, even though most of the players are from Melbourne or New Zealand or other places around the world. But yeah, I think the Reds will be far too strong. The thing that gets me though is the Waratahs have been going really, really well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why have their stadiums not been fuller? I mean, even the Reds, they've done okay, and looking at the Aussie games, I mean, in the past, the Brumbies, they would have a sellout crowd for those games. And I was really disappointed in seeing the size of the crowd at the Hurricanes game a couple of weeks ago. When I saw the Reds play a couple of weeks ago there in Suncorp, the crowd was okay, but it was still quite empty. And then the Waratahs, they've been going really well at home. They started off with a hiss and a roar and right up there near the top of the table. And now people are just, rugby. I'd rather go off and be part of the 100,000 crowd at an AFL Aussie rules game. I know they're all looking forward to this Lions tour, but are we pumping up? I mean, how many? I suppose you could say, did you go to any of the Lions games when they were last here in New Zealand?
No.
Okay, I went to a couple. And the thing is, when the Lions do get here and their barmy army of supporters arrive in droves, when the Waratahs or Queensland play the Lions, I can guarantee you 80% of that crowd are going to be Lions fans that have travelled from the UK, or all the expats in Australia and New Zealand will be over there to support the Lions. They're saying it's going to be a cash cow for them, Australian rugby, but they've really got to do something about getting these crowds back. Yes, I mean, same here in New Zealand.
Yeah, I think everyone's just on the NRL and bandwagon at the moment. Obviously there's a lot of league games going on, and but there's probably people that just don't want to go and watch a game of rugby anymore. There could be 2 or 3 reasons for it.
Okay, so now we'll talk real rugby. Again, it is a case scenario of how many people will show up. And if this game's not a sellout, then New Zealand rugby, Super Rugby, has a problem. Top of the table clash after a week off, the Crusaders taking on the Chiefs after being butt smacked by the Hurricanes last weekend. Wow. Is this almost, you could argue, a All Black trial?
Well, I think this is going to be the game of the round, and I think that Apollo Project Stadium is going to be packed out for this. I'm going the Chiefs by 3.
Oh, really?
Mm.
I think you completely missed the boat on that one. Even though, as I've said once, I've said it twice, maybe 1,000 times, I have got Whānau buried behind the Chiefs Stadium up in Waikato. I can't see the Crusaders after a week off not absolutely blistering the Chiefs. I think they're going to inflict some pain on these guys, and I reckon that it's going to be another big victory over the Chiefs by the Crusaders. I think the Chiefs are looking at steering 2 20-point defeats in a row.
That's interesting. It's going to be a doozy of a game, but we'll wait and see, I guess.
Well, hopefully, we've had all this rough weather. The weather people on the tally have said, oh, we're up for about 10 odd days of nice weather now. So the thing is, it was bloody freezing this morning, and it was bloody freezing yesterday morning. The cold has come. Winter is almost here upon us in full force. So it's going to be a cold night. So if you are at Apollo Project Stadium on Saturday night, rug it up because it's going to be freezing, I think. And I think the Crusaders will handle that a little bit better than the Chiefs from their tropical north base. So, I think I'm going to just go straight out there and go Crusaders by 20. So there you go. And then, of course, the game will wind up on Saturday night as well, 9:35 New Zealand time over there in Perth. So what's that? It's going to be about a 4 o'clock kickoff, I think, local time. We have the Western Force taking on the Brumbies. Teams have found it hard to travel over to Perth to play these guys. But I think the Brumbies are finally getting their act into gear after the Hurricanes defeat. To me, I'll let you have the first pick there again.
Brumbies by 12.
Yeah. So at least we have got a couple of different picks in this week's competition. So that's pretty good, even though it's only 4 games. I think the Brumbies will be far too strong. I think they've got a point to prove because at the end of the day, if you're in that top 2 and with the Chiefs playing the Crusaders, there is that possibility where the Brumbies, a good win here, can move them up into second place. So, they'll be looking at having a home semi-final as we approach the pointy end of the season. So, as we've mentioned there, the bye week, of course, this week, the 3 teams there, the Highlanders, Hurricanes, and Moana Pacifica, they all get to lick their wounds and have a rest and go fishing and do some duck shooting, I'm guessing, down in Otago, while the Hurricanes. It's interesting, I've got one of the smallest guys there looking like the tallest. But, I know, I was just having a bit of fun with those graphics. But, so that's where we're at with Super Rugby. I'll just get rid of that and come back to us. Here we go. That's Super Rugby for our week. Rugby sevens, because we do say that we do talk other stuff on here as well. So the New Zealand girls, they I can't show you anything because otherwise Sky TV will put a block on us. They'll let us show the haka, which has had over 20,000 views on our page. I show the highlights of the the haka for the New Zealand under-85s against Sri Lanka. That's fine. 10,000 views. As soon as I showed the first half highlights of the tries scored in that game in Sri Lanka, blocked by Sky TV in New Zealand. So if you're outside New Zealand, you can still see it, but you can't look at it here in New Zealand, which is a shame. But there is a link on our page. I know I jumped from the sevens to the Sri Lankans, but there is a link on our page where you can go and watch a full replay of that game on YouTube. So go and check that out. And it is a good game, but the next game is in a couple of days on Saturday night, New Zealand time. So keep an eye out for your local listings where you can watch that. But 50 points to 10. Now, the thing is, a lot of people don't probably realise it's not a Sri Lankan under-85 team. This is the full Sri Lankan test side we're talking about here. that have just qualified for the Asian Championships. They're 3 games away from qualifying for the Rugby World Cup. They have to beat Korea, someone else, 3 other, Malaysia, I think it is, and Japan. I actually haven't really dug into it more, but I know they're 3 games away, and we had the New Zealand under 85 kilo, which means if you're watching us for the first time, you can't be over 85 kilos to play in that team, and yeah, a 40-point victory. I mean,
it wasn't too. Yeah, it wasn't too bad, was it? I actually watched the highlights of it, and captained by a ex-Hammerman, Jared Percival, who played a number of games at first 5 for the Hammers. But it was good. It was a good game to watch. But the girls was just unreal, Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you'd be happy with Percival playing very well in that Sri Lankan game. I do have to point out, though, he had an open try line and he dropped the ball. I went, no! But then he got a beautiful try later in the game. But yeah, but it is good. It's interesting to see all the other people that got the donut tour for that game. And we do like to thank them for showing that anyway, because I was a bit worried we weren't going to see those games live. So, but back to the sevens. Yeah, the girls, they just blew the Australians off the park in that grand final, and basically got the double, the league and the world championship. The question I have there, though, is this world championship, as they call it, has replaced the World Cup. We're going to have a world championship final every year now. Only the top 8 teams will qualify. I was sitting there waiting. I thought when they won the league, they got the trophy, right? The World Series trophy. But then they represented the World Series trophy again yesterday. I would like to know what's happened to the World Cup that the men hold, the Melrose Cup, and the what do you call it? The other thing, the Women's World Cup in sevens. Are they? I believe New Zealand are still the World Cup holders. Do we keep that now for perpetuity or something? In the trophy cabinet here in Wellington, because I would have thought that if it was going to be a world championship, the Melrose Cup should have been presented to the winners, i.e., South Africa yesterday.
Yeah. I found that strange too. I can't really answer it, Rabs, but that's good spotting actually.
Yeah. So, and then, of course, they come out with this whole new format next year, and they're going, oh, how wonderful it is. It was the World Championship finals, and you would have had more people down West Melton JAB ground on a Saturday morning than were at LA Galaxy Stadium. At the end of the day, World Rugby, you're fiddling around with the sevens. Please offer free entry, because if all you're thinking about is the television and the social media and all that, and you don't really give 2 hoots about empty stadia, make it free, because it makes the spectacle a lot better to watch. And especially, there's nothing. I was watching the World Cup, basically the World Cup final, and the stadium was empty in both the men's and the women's. It was crazy. And as for the New Zealanders, okay, yay, New Zealand All Blacks, they got up, they won the bronze medal. Brilliant. They beat Fiji. Woohoo! They lose again to Spain. Nothing taken away from Spain, but this contract deal thing they've got going on with the sevens players, please, New Zealand Rugby, bring back the national sevens, will you? It's all good to say, oh, Mike Sheehan, he can run pretty well with the ball. Let's lock him up under a sevens contract and move him to Tauranga. I'll just mention one name, Craig the Goldie, was playing rugby league on the West Coast. He went and played sevens for the West Coast. He went to the Nationals, got picked. Craig the Goldie, New Zealand Sevens legend.
Mm.
He would have never been found if there wasn't the National Sevens.
Mm.
How many guys are running around mid-Canterbury now could easily make the New Zealand Seven side?
Oh, there's a couple.
Exactly. So, they have to bring, they have this regional tournament thing now, South Island Sevens full of Fijian invitational teams, clubs with Fijian rugby influence. They have here in the central region, let's have a tournament. At the end of the day, Manawatu and Wellington show up. Maybe Wanganui. That's it. And then one of them will fall out. There's just, Wellington won the Sevens again, or Manawatu won the Central again. North, they have a couple of tournaments, and they do get a good splattering of teams. But please, bring back the National Sevens, and then the men's All Black Sevens will be great again. Hey, maybe we could bring back Bagger Blacks, make the All Black Sevens great again. Have some sort of hat, jump on the Trump bandwagon, because they've got
you look at people like Fletcher Carpenter. He played in the Sevens and played for East Coast last year, and I think he might have even represented Manawatu at some stage as well. So they just need to go and find the talent, because it's out there.
Yeah, well, he's playing for Te Puke Pirates in Bay of Plenty's Bay Wide Championship at the moment. And he's played 2 games, and 2 games in, he's had he was picked Player of the Week in the Bay of Plenty Club competition in the 2 games he's played. He is talent. Whether he plays for Ngāti Pro this year, I don't know. But he should get the call up to the steam, as I say. It'll be interesting to see where he goes, but it is ridiculous. I know I'm going on about it, but it just really pisses me off that the legacy of the Sevens has been sort of dragged down. Nothing against the guys that are there as well. They can only do what is thrown in front of them, but people will be going to get rid of the coach. Tomasi Kama, okay. Great players don't necessarily become great coaches. That is through all sports. But who else would take over from him? There's no one really standing up saying why, because no one's actually seen all the Sevens coaches at a national tournament. I say bring back the national tournament and use some of that Toyota money. Call it the Toyota National Sevens. There you go.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they put that logo on the strip, won't it?
Well, it's going to be on the training gear. So All Trout is still the front of jersey All Black sponsor, and for other national sides. And then when they go out there doing their training, they get a whole new kit with Toyota on it. I just hope we don't have to say the word bugger too much. It's the first thing that comes into my mind that no one else has picked up, especially if they're running out there with Toyota on and we're all sitting in the grandstands going, bugger, especially against the French when they arrive later in the year. So anyway, that's about us. Congratulations to Germany for knocking out Samoa at the World Sevens and making Division 2. Still trying to get my head around that whole concept. Samoa, that's another team that's sort of fallen from grace. They're basically back into regional Sevens tournaments. And what else have we had happening around the world? Leinster lost again in the semi-finals of the European Cup, even with Geordie Barrett. And both teams I wanted to win, both lost. So it shows how much I know about European rugby. So it will be Northampton playing, I think it's Bordeaux in the final. So I thought Racing might have got up, but they didn't. I thought Leinster would get up, and they got beaten by Northampton. So that's just crazy. But otherwise, that's about it. Enough bleating from me. Any bleats from you?
No, not really. Just I might treat up to the way to West Melton and watch the game tonight. I'll see what happens. But If not, I'll just sit back and keep warm and tune into the live updates on Explorer. But yeah, I'll definitely be at Diefield on Saturday for the second game. Hopefully the weather plays ball. Yeah, but no. Yeah, other than that, no, that's it from me.
Yeah, no, thank you for just reminding me about the Explorer thing, because one reason why we were a little bit late, I was dealing with a union at the moment to discuss the difference between Explorer and Tribe. Now, at the end of the day, again, just a bit of housekeeping for all unions. Make sure you get your scores incorrect in the Explorer app. And if you're a fan and wanting to see how your team is going, you go to Explorer, you type in your club team, it should pop up on the screen. We'll try and throw up a link on our Facebook page later in the day. But Tribe, they again used to have people inputting the results. They are apparently fed into the RX system. So if there is a wrong result in the RX system, don't ring up and go, oh, the Tribe got the wrong result, because Tribe are taking the result from the RX system. So, and again, all results are provisional until really verified on a Monday. So just take all results on a Saturday in both RX and on Tribe with a grain of salt, because sometimes they are wrong. Just say. Because I do get phone calls about, oh, you're wrong. No, I'm not. So, because the last I looked, 10 tries equals 50 points, 7 conversions equal 14 points, which gives Kiwi 64 points, not 62, as some other pages are bleating on about. You know what I'm talking about. So, yes. But otherwise, that's it. And we'll catch us all later. We might be doing shows in the weekend. You don't know. Got a fancy new computer now, so we can just do what we want. Till next week. Mike, thank you very much.
Take it easy, mate.
I'll keep you on here, and we'll go off and we'll have a quick chat afterwards.
Yep, no worries.
Okay. Alrighty. So I haven't heard anything back from. Are we still live? Hang on, it's not going. It's not turning us off yet, so we might still be live. So this could be